Everyone, if you can hear me, give a thumbs up. Let me know we are communicating already. I think we should just start this session right away without waiting for long anymore. So my name is Patrick Simeon Ojapa, and I am the Executive Director of Trauma Victims Initiative. I am hosting this session with you for being in the field of humanitarian work for over 7 years now. And for the past 3 years or more, we've been working on trying to bridge the gap between trauma and care in Nigeria and beyond. I'm hosting this space with you also as a certified mental health youth first aider by the Mental Health and Wellbeing Initiative Council. I just want to welcome you to this session. And I'll be hosting this session with you along with Mr. Francis Nnadozie, a well-renowned mental health counselor who has been in this practice for almost 20 years or more. And it's interesting that we are having this discussion with you. Most of all, that you are here because you care about the youth and about the future Nigeria. So permit me to share with you my slide because I'll be introducing this session. I don't hope to stay interestingly for a very long time. So if you're here, let me know if you can see my screen. Just a moment. Let me present it this way. Right? Hope it's good enough. Can you see my screen? Give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen. Good. I guess it's clear. So you're welcome to today's first edition of Youth and Mental Health session. And as a way of engagement, what else do you think the artists wanted to share? Thank you for the thumbs up. I can see that. What else do you think the artists, what is the communication the artists wanted to share with us? Growing up, I had my teacher who often talked about this scenario of a butterfly in the arms of, I'm trying to admit someone, but find a way to do that. A butterfly in the arms of an individual, and he was asked, what do you think of this butterfly? So there are about 1 million interpretations to this, and you can have your interpretation. You can text it to the chat, just one word. What word will you want to describe this artist's description of his work? Beautiful painting. I want us to just take across and check with myth about mental health. What do you consider as myth and what do you consider as fact? In today's world, we can see these results pops up anywhere, or we can have this discussion and we want to know if this is a myth or is a fact. About 29 million people suffer from depression in Africa. Do we see this as a myth or as a fact? For me, this pops up to be a fact because it's a report from the WHO and it has been undermined. These numbers must have increased because we have not followed up to check with ourselves and what is the data saying when it comes to mental health concern. And the mental health is a sign of weakness. What do you think of this? Is this a myth or a fact? You can type in the chat box, make it interactive. It's okay to type in. What do you think of this? If it's a myth, you can just write M. If you think of it as a fact, go ahead. It's okay to type F. We're trying to check with us all what we consider as myth and what we consider as fact when it comes to mental health concern. The other discussion is that African countries have the highest suicide rates, predominantly driven by depression and anxiety. Do you see this as a thing of concern or is it just a myth? Because if it is a fact, I bet we should be worried. So what do you think of this? A myth or a fact? Then we have this statement as well. Mental illness is a health condition not a personal failing, and has nothing to do with strength or willpower. It's not a personal failing and has nothing to do with strength or willpower. So, in a way, these statements cannot be considered as a myth as well. But for me, it answers the statement that mental health is a sign of weakness. Excuse me. If you consider mental health as a sign of weakness, that must be a myth, please. But the fact is, mental health is a health condition, not a personal failing, and has nothing to do with willpower. The last one, which is the most interesting and why I feel this session is also very important. Half of all mental disorders begin by age 14, and 3/4 begin by age 25. This is a youthful age. Only 7.4% of all US youths have any mental health visit in a year. The statistics talks about US youth, but this gets me even more worried about us in Africa, especially Nigeria and other African countries, where we don't have the database to get these statistics, or research on mental health is undermined. To say the least, we have more. If you ask me what is my statistics, or if I'm to conduct the research, and my hypothesis will be that by age 14 or less, we have over 7 or over 10% of African citizens or Nigerian youth with mental health concern. And we all know that visiting a psychologist or making a visit for mental health is, beside the fact that it's stigmatized, some see it as an aberration. This is why I feel very importantly that we should be having these sessions across board. We should be having these sessions for youth groups. We should be having these sessions to create enough awareness, because the suicide rate is becoming alarming. Depression rate is becoming alarming, most especially because we don't have data, we don't track these scenarios across board. If you are with me, it's okay to give a thumbs up while we continue with this session. Just to check with us, our objective for this session is to have a walk through the basic understanding of mental health. Are we able to recognize the signs and symptoms of mental health, and what are those challenges that may impact youth? Because we are looking at youth and their effects, mental health challenge in terms of youth productivity. So we are trying to see, okay, are we able to understand the symptoms of mental health challenge and the impact on youth and productivity as well? And we are going to also discuss further on the needs for early intervention for mental health challenges. How important is intervening for mental health challenges at an early stage? This and many more we intend to bring to you within an hour, but we might not be able to exhaust all of this today, as we intend that this is going to be a continuum. After today, you are going to receive from us messages and then more information on new sessions or next sessions with regards to mental health and youth productivity in Nigeria and beyond Africa in large. All right, if you're with me, it's good that we're here, and I want to congratulate you for being part of this session. Now, we basically want to look at mental health as a state of well-being in which an individual realizes their own capabilities. If you are able to realize your capability and you are able to check with your mental health awareness that yes, you know your limits, you know what you can do, and are you able to cope with the normal stressors of life? Are you aware that you are stressed? At what point do you feel stressed? And at what point do you notify yourself that you are stressed and you might not be able to cope anymore? This is mental health awareness. And this translates to our well-being as an individual. The next point is for you to be identified with yourself. Can you work, or are you productive enough? Can work productively. An individual can identify that, yes, I'm fine. I'm aware of my stress level. I'm aware of my capabilities. And I can tell if I am productive in this period. This is mental health. And finally, can you contribute to your community? To what level can you contribute to your community? Are you having the capacity to contribute to your community? Then we can decide, or you can decide as an individual to say, okay, are you willing to contribute to your community? I want to stop here with introduction to this mental health session. and invite on board my co-facilitator in this session, Mr. Francis Nadoze, a man with a wealth of experience in mental health and psychosocial support. Please give a round up, give us a thumbs up as we welcome Mr. Francis to take up the mic. Mr. Francis, if you're there with me, just unmute your mic. Thank you, thank you. Unmute your mic, Mr. Francis, if you're there with me, and continue down the lane. So, until I have Mr. Francis on board, I think we can check with ourselves on what are some of the mental health challenges that youths can face in our communities, and rather, what is the impact of our background and experiences on mental health? Because this is where we've been having concern and the need to check with youth. To look at the mental health challenges, first, we need to understand that there are major changes in a youth thinking, feeling, or behavior. If we take our mind back to the statistics that talk about the number of youths who have mental health concern at early stage. Thank you.
Can you hear
Mr.
me?
Francis, are you here? Good. Yeah, can you speak louder so we can hear you?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. Is it my time?
Yes, please.
All right. Thank you very much. Good day, everyone. And welcome on board this morning of mental health. And we are focusing on youths. But as we are focusing on youths, there's not much difference. Or if you're not a youth, also see yourself in the situation. And you can learn to understand how to assist yourself, your neighbors, the youths around you. Now, Mr. Patrick have defined mental health, and which I believe all of us understand. But I want to stress a little bit on it by focusing on youths. Are we together?
Yes, we are.
All right. Mental health, when we talk about mental health, one thing I want us to understand, and I like people to have in mind, is that we are not talking about madness. We are not talking about psychosis. You know, when we talk about mental health, we are talking about our general health, because there's no physical health without mental health. So if your mental health has an issue, definitely it will tell on your physical health. So to create a balance, their mental health must be sound, and your physical health will also be sound, and that gives you balanced mental wellness. But most times people don't take care of their mental health, which degenerates to mental illness or mental health disorders, which we don't pray for. Now, when we look at mental health, it refers to the emotional. Somebody should try to mute. When we talk about mental health of youth, we are talking about their emotional, psychological, and social well-being. Now, how they think about themselves and others around them, how they handle stress, challenges, and relationships. There's no way as a human being you don't go through stresses of life every day. How do you handle it? Is it that the stress controls you, or you control the stress? If you control the stress, if you control crisis that comes before you, anger, emotions, and you're able to put them in control, then you're on top of your game. But if these things control you, then there are issues which you need to look into. How do you make choices and decisions as a youth, as a person? Do you make positive decisions, positive choices, or negative choices? What is it that occupies your mind? Negative things or positive things? Our minds is like a garden. Our minds is like a garden. When you plant flower or vegetable, you water them. It grows and gives you what you want. So when you nurture negative thinking, negative thoughts, you are nurturing negativity, and it will give you that negative product. Now, how do you cope with your emotions, such as happiness, sadness, anger, or fear? For example, in the case of youths who are battling with academics, when your result comes out, how do you feel? And if the result is not good the way you want it, Do you feel dejected? Do you feel all is gone? You are finished? No, you're not finished. There's still hope. You can still do better. Now, in all of this, there are still good mental health for our youths and for everybody. For example, how you develop positive relationships. You make sure in every relationship you're in, there must be a positive one. It must be a healthy one. It's one that will help you to improve and grow. How do you achieve your potentials? Do you plan it with people around you, or do you do it on your own? Are you progressing with your potentials? Do you have resilience? In all we do, in all we say, we must build resilience. Every human being must have resilience. We must be resilient in nature. How do we navigate through life challenges and with confidence? Life must throw challenges on us. Obstacles must be there as we move on. But how do we navigate them? Do we allow them to weigh us down? Or do we pick up our bags and baggages and continue, which is being resilient? These are the things we talk about. And we're looking at the youth mental health. We're going to be focusing on maybe anxiety, depression, trauma, abuse, substance abuse, social media technology, all these things. That's the areas we're going to look at, because these are common mental health challenges our youths face today. Have you seen a youth or yourself as an individual? You want to go for a function or you want to go to work. Maybe you wake up late, and in trying to get ready, you are hurrying up. You build tension around yourself. You build tension around your home because you want to go to a function or to work. You don't want to get late. And in the process of hurrying, you move. Maybe you've forgotten something and you start shouting, calling people. You have forgotten this. You have left this at home. At the end, you still go to that work late because you meet traffic on the way. Most times, these are anxieties and stress of life. But how do we handle them? We can only handle them positively by waking up early and plan our day, how we move, so that you don't put yourself under pressure, undue pressure. You don't put anybody under undue pressure. And you don't try to beat traffic as you're moving. Because as you beat traffic, where the law works, you'll be arrested. So most times we develop anxiety unnecessarily. In the process, we go wrong. Have you seen some people who can resonate with a situation where somebody is sad? Yes, under normal circumstances, something can make us go sad. But if that sadness persists, or loss of interest, or changes in appetite or sleep, if it persists for beyond 2 weeks, then what we look at here is depression. Depression. We all have, issues. We can go sad. Somebody can make us go sad, or some situations can make us go sad. But when you go sad, after some time, you pick up yourself again and move on. But when a sadness, loss of interest in things, changes in appetite and your mood and sleep patterns changes, and it persists for, beyond 2 weeks, then there's a problem. And that problem could be depression. Although it has to be confirmed by a clinical psychologist after a clinical diagnosis or a psychiatric doctor. But these are the signs we see, and we start getting worried about depression. So when you see somebody that eats normal, under normal circumstances, we're supposed to have our, limit in eating, in drinking. But all of a sudden, there's a change in the appetite. The appetite increases or the appetite decreases. Sleeping pattern changes. The person sleeps more than before or sleeps less. And these complaints are coming. You have to watch that person and find out that person is still sad. And if it goes beyond 2 weeks, it's depression. Now, there are some cases where in the family, because research have shown that abuse happens more in the homes. Parents, couples abuse their children. Children abuse their siblings. Visitors abuse children in the home under the nose of the parents, and the parents don't have idea. And these are called what we call childhood trauma. And most of us that are adults today or youths, we grow with it. We internalize those wounds and we move on with them. At a point when we are in school, we turn to bullies. We turn to abuse. We start abusing people. Or we lose interest in certain things. When these things happen, we look at childhood trauma, which may result to post-traumatic stress disorder. A child that is a bully in school is not happy that he or she is a bully, or he or she decides to be a bully. They are just sending a message. They are sending signal that something happened in the past that was not taken care of. but they don't know. So when we see bullies, let us not brand them as bullies. They need help. They are calling for help. Now you've seen a situation where, youths, students, taking drugs, different kinds of substance abuse. You have a lot of them now in Nigeria. Even some taking to alcohol, some taking to cigarette, substance abuse. All these things are challenges that can lead to mental health issues. Then we now see the coming of social media. Everybody wants to belong. Everybody wants to be heard. Everybody wants to own an iPhone or Apple phone, Android phone, I mean. In the process of having it, you people are pressing phone anyhow. It's also leading us to addiction, both youths and adults. You see a family, when they come back, everybody is in the living room, mother, father, children, everybody is pressing a gadget. Nobody is talking to one another. Excessive social media use contributes to mental health challenges. There are also, in that use of social media, you experience cyberbullying. You experience fear of missing out. And what is fear of missing out? You don't want to be missed out. You want to be part of the discussion. You want to be part of what is going on. So these are some of the challenges, mental health challenges youths go through in life. Let's look at also the risk factors, because there are risk factors. When you talk about mental health, there are risk factors. Now, what are the risk factors? One is genetic predisposition. Genetic predisposition, that is family history, can play a role in mental health challenges. What is the family history of that person? What is your own family history? Was somebody or your father or mother had a mental health issues? Or was there any mental health challenges in that family? These things can be risk factors. Then you look at environmental factors, adverse childhood experiences, like I mentioned earlier, that is childhood trauma that may be caused by abuses, abandonment, and neglect. We talk about poverty or lack of support that can contribute to mental health issues. So you see, getting married is not the issue. Buying phone is not the issue. The issue is to feed that phone, take care of your family, so that you don't produce dysfunctional people. Because when we have dysfunctional society, families, the society will be dysfunctional. You can imagine a situation whereby, because it's a proven fact that Nigerian population today is dominant with youths. Over 30% of the Nigerian population are youths. So if we have, and that is the productive age, if we have 30% of the youths, and out of that 30%, maybe 20 or 25 or even 15, even 10 are dysfunctional, what do you expect? The productivity in the country will drop to be low. Maybe that is what the former late president saw and said Nigerian youths are lazy, although I don't want to buy into that. But when you look at it from other angles, it seems to be right. Now, we look at another risk factor is social pressure. There's social pressure on our youths. And some of these social pressures are coming from societal expectations. Peer pressure. Social media can impact mental health. Our peer pressure, there is a lot of pressure from their peers. And they want to, live up to expectation. They want to be seen to belong. There are societal expectations. Or is it not your mate that is riding the car? Is it not your mate that has gotten a job? These are pressures from family, from society. We want to meet up. Out of that pressure, we go all out. We go even the wrong way to make it. I saw a video trending on the social media the other day. A 14 or 15 years old boy who can't even speak English bought a Mercedes Benz. And the father said, no, you can't enter my house. What are you doing? He said he's doing forex trading. Well, these are some of the pressures. If other children, you see that kind of a thing, they want to find out how he made it, and they also want to make it. And you look at some of the societal issues we have. Every school now, secondary school, universities, we have cultism. And in fact, it's even degenerating to primary schools. These are societal pressures because they want to belong. Then another risk factor is the academic pressure. Academic pressure, high expectations, competition, or academic stress can affect mental well-being. We are not competing. Nobody is competing with one another. Even the other day, I read something on the social media. A reverend father wrote it about this graduation fever. A child is moving from kindergarten to primary school. There's graduation. The same child moves from primary to secondary, there's graduation, junior secondary. They moves from junior secondary to senior secondary and finishes senior secondary, there's another graduation. Then he graduates from the university, there's graduation. These are pressures, undue pressures that we're not supposed to go through. Parents will go all out, sew cloth, some even do customized materials for that graduation ceremony. What are we talking about? What are we telling our society? We are showing them that this is normal. And that normal way, that thing we show them to be normal is what they continue with. But quite unfortunate, abnormality in Nigeria, I say it every day and everywhere. Abnormality have taken over normality in Nigeria. We celebrate abnormality. We clap for abnormal things. We cheer abnormal things up, which is very wrong and is affecting us. Sometimes, some years back, a psychiatric doctor gave a figure that over 60 million Nigerians have mental health issues. People were laughing, people were shouting, no, it is not correct. It is correct. He's not saying that over 60 million Nigerians are mad, no, but we have mental health issues. Let me give you a typical example that happens under your nose every day. Yes, most of us drive. We have vehicle. There's road signs. And it's against the law to beat the traffic, to drive against the traffic, or to beat the road, the traffic signs. But what is the normal thing in Nigeria today? Especially in Abuja, I don't know where you people are. People beat traffic light with confidence, with impunity. People drive against the traffic, one way. Nothing will happen. Impunity. And we call on government that the government is being impunitive. Is that normality? Is that normality? When people don't respect the rule of law. We have taken it to be normal, but it's not normal. So when people behave like that, half of the population behave like that, I mean, the 60 million is even less. Okay, that's by the way. Let's look at the signs, because there are signs you need to look out for. When these things are happening to somebody near you, or somebody you know, or your daughter or your son, or your friend, or yourself, then you know that it's a sign. You need to call, look out for a place you will get help. One of the signs is changes in mood. Irritability, mood swings, or persistent sadness. I mentioned it earlier in the case of depression. We also talk about changes in our behavior. Most times people withdraw from activities. They withdraw from friends. They withdraw from the things they used to do. And when that withdrawal has started, it's a sign that we need to look out for. Maybe it's somebody that is social, that is outgoing, that likes to mix up. All of a sudden, they start withdrawing themselves. It's a sign. Then you look at for aggressive behaviors, aggression or reckless behaviors. When people are being aggressive and unwanted aggressiveness, being reckless, because most times we normalize recklessness, we normalize aggressive behavior. But I tell people that our aggressive behavior in Nigeria, because Nigeria is seen to be aggressive. We are not quiet people, we are vocal. I tell people that is as a result of the long military rule. But it's a research we need to look into. Why are we aggressive? Aggressive behavior is not a normal behavior. So that's some of the signs we need to look out for. Then you look out for changes in physical health. Remember, I mentioned that there's no physical health without mental health. So if your mental health is okay, your physical health will be okay. But if there are challenges in your mental health, your physical health will be challenged. And we call this psychosomatic. I don't know if you have heard that word before. Psychosomatic illness, psychosomatic pain, psychosomatic issues. Simply means what affects the mind affects the body. The moment you're troubled emotionally, psychologically, cognitively, it will show on your body. Either through pains, headaches, or one complaint or the other. And you see people taking medication about a particular thing and it is not going. Then check your emotions. Check your psychological situation. You see, the problem we have in this part of the world is that we don't want to be branded. We don't want that stigma that we went to visit a psychologist, a psychiatric doctor. There is nothing harm. There is nothing wrong in you going to visit. It's for your own good and for the good of the people around you. Okay? So when there are changes in their physical health, for example, changes in appetite, sleep patterns, or energy levels, then it's a sign of mental health issue. Now, when we talk about energy levels, now, you might be somebody energetic. You might be somebody that, very good in doing this and doing that. All of a sudden, maybe because of one bitter experience or the other, your energy level drops. You are no longer able to do what you used to do before. It's a sign. And it calls for action. Okay? Changes in social interaction is another sign. Withdrawal from social activities or relationships. This withdrawal is very, very important. A lot of time people withdraw. Oh, we brand it. Oh, he's an introvert. Introvert, extrovert. There are things that may happen to somebody and a person decides to be withdrawn. We have to look out for all these things. Okay. Now, when all these things happens, we have seen the sign. We have seen some of the challenges and the risk factors. How do we support? How can we help out as human beings? We need to seek for professional help. Mental health professionals such as therapists or counselors can provide guidance and support. We have clinical social workers, we have social workers, we have clinical psychologists, we have psychologists, we have psychiatric doctors, we have counselors. We can reach out to them. We have NGOs that are doing all these things. If they cannot, they can refer you. You have friends, not toxic friends, friends that can help. And if they can't help you, they may be able to advise you or refer you to where you can get help. We don't need to be ashamed. You see, what happens in this part of the world is denial. Nigerians are living in denial. When you check the participation today, we are about 11 or 12. It's dropping. But there's a program you will put up now, if it has to do with entertainment, sexual immorality, you see hundreds of people coming to join. But when we talk about mental health, people shy away from it because of denial. We are living in denial and we need to come out of it and face it. Face the reality. Help ourselves. We need to also establish support groups. Identify a support group that can help you in any time you have issues. That support group might be from your family. It can be from community where you are, your neighborhood. It can be in your workplace. Identify a healthy support group. And that support group, if they can't, they can also help you to get referral. There are also hotlines and online resources you can check out for. Because so many people, I had a client some time ago. I say, what do you want, physical or online? He said, online. I'm always ashamed of, coming one-on-one with somebody. I said, okay. There are online resources. You can log in and check. You can have sessions online. They won't see your face. They will only know your name. Because what you're doing, you're building yourself. You're helping yourself. It's part of your personal development. Then we have families and friends. A supportive network of loved ones can play a significant role in mental health. So we need to identify all this. Also, we talk about self-care. Many a times people think self-care is just to go and eat good food. Yes, it's good also. Go to a restaurant, eat good food, spend money, drink. Yeah, it could be self-care, but it's not all that self-care. Most times if you indulge in alcohol intake, it might be having another consequences on you. You don't know. So self-care is not selfishness. I keep telling people, make sure you take care of yourself. And one of the ways you can take care of yourself, minimize your use of social media. Minimize the use of your phone. And many of us don't even know that in that mobile phone you're holding, there's a place called mental wellness and parental control. Yes, it's in that set. If you go to setting, you'll see it. And you can set your phone so that the phone can tell you how many minutes you have spent on WhatsApp, Facebook, all those things on social media. So that you can promise yourself, I can't spend more than 1 hour a day or 1 hour at a time. When it's showing you, you minimize it. And you can also set it in such a way that it will control your children when they are using it. At a certain point, it will go off. Many people don't know this. You can control the screen. These are some of the things that triggers our mental illness. So, but we need to take care of ourselves. And another way you can take care of yourself is by, building healthy boundaries. Most times people don't know how to build boundaries. Building boundaries is not isolation. Building boundaries is not withdrawal. Building boundaries is not, malice, avoidance. No, you build a healthy boundary. For example, you are a married woman, you're a married man, a couple. Take it upon yourself, or even a youth, that once it is 9 o'clock, 9 p.m. or 10 p.m., I cannot receive any call from anybody. It's a healthy habit, boundary you're creating. And the moment people know you for that, they will call you at that point. Another way you can build a boundary is that if you're working, you can, build a healthy boundary and say, oh, my work is only at office. I cannot take my laptop to the house or take my work to the house. No, it ends at the office. Or even if you come to the house, if you want to use your laptop, you say, no, my laptop cannot enter my bedroom. That's a healthy boundary. You're helping yourself. You create a balance. Okay. Another way we can also help ourselves is open communication. Open communication. Most times people are not open to communication. And communication has gone beyond communication this time around. We talk about effective communication. Like the way the country is now. And they come, like some people say, is not an address, which is true. Communicate with your partner. Communicate with people around you. Let them know where you're going. Let them know what you're doing. Let them understand you. So that in case anything happens, they know how to trace. Okay? Education and awareness, like we're doing now. We're educating ourselves. We're creating awareness. So anywhere there's something similar, especially when it is free, you try to get involved and learn from there. Even if it is paid one, you pay and learn also, because there's limit to free things. Okay? So conclusively, because we will have time for interaction, by understanding these aspects we have mentioned, you can better support youths and maintain good mental health and addressing challenges when they arise. No one chooses to struggle with mental illness. You will agree with me. No one wakes up wishing to be so overwhelmed by depression that getting out of bed feels impossible. No. No one wants to live with anxiety so intense that a single day can be filled with panic attacks. I don't think it's a wish of anybody. Mental illness is not a choice. It is a reality many face.
That's a wonderful one from Sir Francis. Thank you so much for your time. You can give him a round of applause or react to this conversation if you have vibed with us all along. Let's see your reactions.
Mr. Patrick, over to you.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Can you hear me? Please, it's okay to unmute your mic and say a word or two. We have just about 7 minutes to round off for today's session. We started quite good, and we intend to continue with this session, but we don't wish to speak all along by ourselves. So you have some time. We want to give out. We are generous. We want to, as much as we take the space, we are willing to give out space. So it's okay to unmute and make a 1 minute, 2 minute contribution before we round up the session.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. I just really want to thank, sorry, I came late actually, but I'm so pleased to hear Mr. Francis, the part he said. It was really, 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 really uplifting. I hope this is recorded so that it can just be put on websites, on our website. Is it recorded? Okay. Right. Okay, so I think you can just go online. Thank you so much, Mr. Francis, and thank you, Patu, everybody. Thank you. Good to see all of you.
Great. So we intend to bring more of this. We've had today some of the myths and the facts about mental health. And we can look around and see that the figures are increasing. The data is not friendly. And our intention is to see what else can we do to help the situation, to salvage the situation. If youths are leaders of tomorrow, and we are having in millions, 2, 3 millions, 7%, 10% of the population having mental concern from the age 24. And if this happens, it continues through life. It means we are in a dire situation, and it calls for action. So we will eventually continue with this session, and we are going to delve in more on what else can we do to salvage the current issues. I give you an instance. How can we differentiate between a young man's normal change in mood to a depression state? Is he depressed, or is it just being a youthful personality, or is it just a youthful dilemma? So can we identify some of these changes and place them appropriately, and then take action where needed? These are issues we need to look into eventually, and then talk about it more often. Are youth aware of a state they are currently? Are they aware that they have been traumatized? Are they aware that what they are doing is an aberration, it's not normal? How do we bring this to the know of the people? How do we bring this to the know of the masses, so we can have a sane, safe, growing community? This is our intention, and we hope to come up with you and check up with you very soon. Difficult to say because this is the first session, and as interesting as it gets, we are going to get you involved, so we walk through and ensure that these issues we're having, these data that are becoming alarming, we are also making a contribution to save the world, as well as saving the planet, just as a mental health concerns. And we look forward to involving ourselves all as first aiders when it comes to mental health, because we have psychologists, we have different faces of people who are willing to help, the people who are having these issues, people who don't identify as a group that needed support are not coming forward to take these services. So what we need to do is to bridge the gap, come up as first aiders, so that we can identify some of these salient concerns and then direct them appropriately. We don't have to be professionals to be able to save or to be able to intervene when it comes to mental health concern. We can just be a first aider. And we are going to bring up with you all of these signs and all that you need to do eventually, just as time goes on, simple things, simple strategies, simple techniques to help you as an individual to cope with pressure, cope with mental health, cope with depression, and also save another person. This is wonderful to take as a package from us all. And I want to thank you so much for your time and attention. Go ahead, Christiana.
Okay, just appreciation of the organizers of this program, and to say that this is quite timely because there's a high record of mental health breakdown amongst the youth population and also other populations. So this is quite helpful. Thank you very much. We look forward to more learning, as they said.
Thank you, Christiana, for vibing with us.
Okay, Patrick.
Yes, I'm with you.
Okay, I just want to use the opportunity to inform them maybe we're likely going to do it again on the 10th to mark the World Suicide Prevention Day. We are going to focus on suicide.
So we focus on all emerging issues and mark important dates as they emerge, and as you can rightly keep in touch with us. But we will update you on our next event, hopefully 10th, as said by Mr. Francis. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day and a week ahead.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.